This is Center Stage, putting lawyers in the spotlight by highlighting attorneys and other industry experts to help take your law firm to the next level. Hey everyone, and welcome to Center Stage. I am your host, John Henson, and this week I'm excited to be joined by attorney Marc Wasserman, and we're going to be talking about finding your niche as an attorney. Marc has done a great job of that in his practice. So Marc, thank you for taking some time to join us today.
Thank you for having me. Wonderful to be here.
Awesome. So for those of you who may not know, Marc is a little bit more well-known as one of the Pop brothers at law. But for those who are not familiar with that, Marc, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm Marc Wasserman. Together with my big brother, Craig, we're known as the Pop Brothers at Law. We're California attorneys handling all areas of cannabis licensing and regulations, as well as all areas of criminal defense. We also co-host a podcast called Cannabis Talk 101, which is the only cannabis podcast to be partnered with a major media conglomerate, iHeartMedia. Most importantly, my brother and I teach people how to peacefully engage with law enforcement by using 25 words that are simply known as the script, and to shut the fuck up when cops ask questions. Another thing we're proud of, because of our large social media presence, where we have over 1 million followers collectively, our educational videos have over 800 million views collectively. We've created the Pop Brothers at Law Worldwide Attorney Referral Network, where we are connecting people all across the world with good, honest, ethical attorneys, with people who need them and are in dire straits. So that's a little bit about who we are.
Awesome. So you have pretty much just, I don't know what the past term of dive is, but you've jumped headfirst into cannabis law. And so how did you decide on that as a specific niche for your law practice?
Well, so I became an attorney in 1996. And at that time, my brother had already been practicing for 10 years. And he focused on corporate counsel, business litigation, workers' compensation, and handling acquisitions and mergers and transactional matters. I got right into criminal defense. And in 1996 in California, that happens to be when Prop 215 came out and gave patients their rights. When it came out, it was being badly misused, mistreated. Cannabis patients were still getting arrested. So I jumped right in, and as a criminal defense attorney, found myself representing a lot of cannabis. But being a cannabis user myself, I felt it was incumbent upon me to get in there and start defending. So I've been representing cannabis patients and dealing with that end of it my entire career since 1996. So as that progressed and we saw the laws start to change in California, and things opened up for what were called cooperatives and collectives, not-for-profits. And at that time, my brother's son, my nephew, had a penchant for cannabis, had a green thumb for it. And in fact, my brother went through a very nasty divorce long ago, 10-year marriage, 4 young kids. And my nephew I speak about was the oldest. And, as that happens when you're 12, 13, 14-year-old and you go through a divorce, it's a lot of emotions, a lot of things going on. And he was seeing counselors and they wanted to give him all sorts of medications. And my brother said, no, we're not popping those pills into my kid. Let's go to the backyard, have a hit. Maybe it'll make you feel better. And it did, but we had no idea where it was going to lead down this path for him of uncle had to get him out of trouble several times because of his passion for the plant and what it did for people. And he was making it for cannabis, for cancer patients early on, before it was a thing, way back then. And so the thing to point out, especially in California, and as it still is in most places, it's a crime first. And then you had to show that you were doing it the way the state said you could do it, and then you could get cases dismissed. So over like a 5, 6, 7 year period, my nephew got popped for felonies on several different occasions. And we were in there and we fought and we got everything dismissed because he listened to us and how to engage with cops, and because he was operating properly. So we were able to get all the medicine back when he did get busted. So all of that collectively is why we became proficient at all of this cannabis, the cannabis laws and around the business and everything like that. And as it started escalating, my nephew, again, he started, we're talking 15 years ago, and he's in deep with a lot of the big companies. Now he owns a company called West Coast Cure, and a lot of these bigger companies that are out there, they started, around that time, underground, in the, the legacy market, the traditional market, walking that line, and really putting a lot of people, went to jail, who are now in that social equity realm of trying to get paid back. But because it was our family at that time, that's why we became proficient right out of the gate. And then that just spilled over when we fast forward to like 2015. My nephew was the one who said, "You guys got to get on Instagram." And we were like, come on, we're old guys. And if you go back to Instagram in 2015, there were 15-second videos, and it was all tits and drugs and, all that stuff. And so we were on Facebook. I had 5,000 friends on Facebook and free advertising. But he pushed us. And so I can actually point to the day, January 22nd, 2015, when my nephew showed up at our office. And this is, just like him. He jet sets all over the world. I mean, he's buddies with Wiz and Snoops and all those guys that he's known before they were who, and that's where they got their medicine from, from my nephew when they were out in California. So he pops in one day, he goes, "Hey, I need you guys to do me a favor. I have a friend, they want to interview attorneys." Now this is 2015, just when 2016 was going to hit with Prop 64. So they wanted attorneys to come on this show, smoke with them, and talk about the laws. They couldn't find any attorneys. My nephew had already told them my uncle and my dad will do it. And so I said, "Where do we go? Let's go." My older conservative brother, "Hold on, wait a minute. I'm not going to get out there and start, what about the state bar? I mean, we got things to, I'm a lot different than my brother." And so, we talked about it, and we have our physician's recommendations. We're going to a private place, a studio. They don't care. They're going to allow it. We're not breaking any laws. Let's go. Who's going to be what is this thing? And so it was a show called Getting High with Adam Ill was the host, and it was on Be Real TV at that time. And so Be Real, I knew from Cypress Hill. And so how out of touch were we that we said, "What is he on channel 4, 7? What TV? What's this Be Real TV show he's on? What network?" So it's the internet, right? And so we learned very quickly about that. And my nephew says, "Yeah, let's go. We go right now." Okay, so we went up to Be Real Studios up in Hollywood. We get there and we go on this show and we start answering questions. People are calling in. It turns into like a 2.5 hour thing that was nonstop. We're dabbing, we're smoking, we're joints, we're blunts, just everything, and answering all these questions. And after that was done, my brother went in and created our Instagram page, Pot Brothers at Law, although he put pot space brothers space at space law. And when you put that space, it creates an annoying underscore.
Right.
Of course, we didn't know back then. So, but now it's pot_brothers_at_law is how you find us. And he created that. We took some pictures with Be Real. And then it became, what the fuck are we going to do with Instagram? And more so than my brother, I have an entertainment background, with film and TV and all that stuff. And I went to my computer and I went to Instagram. And the first thing I learned was you can't do shit on your computer. You need your phone. And so that was very irritating to me because that's all I needed was another thing to do with my phone. But I spent about a week straight with Instagram, studying it, learning it. How can we utilize this to get information out and help people? What can we do with this? And so we started with these 15-second tips on what to do when you get pulled over, targeting cannabis users because they get messed with the most by cops, because what's that smell? And so that's where we were targeting it. And then we started getting questions from people. And within probably 4 weeks, we had 5,000 followers. And so it was like, whoa, it took me 8 years to get 5,000 friends on Facebook. It was like, okay, something's going on. How do we harness this? What are we going to do with this? And as we were noting the questions coming from people, what do I do if the cop says this? What do I do with that? And as questions were coming from all across the country, we realized this isn't just for California cannabis patients, just for everybody. Whether you had 1 or 2 drinks, whether you're just driving around and the cops want to harass you. And so that's when, our entire careers, we've been telling people, shut the fuck up, don't consent to searches. And that's pretty much it. But as we were getting more notoriety on social media and people were asking questions, we're like, let's figure out a way to have people engage and talk and utilize their rights. And so the script, the 25 words that we now have, which started as like 60 words and then 50, and we have an actual evolution of business cards, this business card that we have. And as we say, more importantly, the back, which has the 25 words and everything you need to know. And so there were 60 words on here. There were, it was just over probably 5 or 6 months, we were whittling it down. And then we got it to these 25 words, which are there to preserve your rights, remedies, and defenses if you need them in criminal court or to bring a civil action. So once we honed that in and then started seeing the reactions we were getting, more reactions on almost people commenting on our appearances. Now, I go to court a lot, much more than my brother. Mm-hmm. So I'm always in a vest and tie, and I dress more eccentrically than my brother. I always have. And people started commenting on that. And so it became, a thing where I'd come to work like this and I got a vest and tie over there that I'll throw on and go do a 15, 20, whatever, it became a thing. And we noticed that people were really gravitating to our personalities. And that's really when you're talking about marketing yourself and everything that we now have on social media, we're very quick to say we fell ass backwards into it. I mean, we had no idea, that any of this was going to happen. We weren't trying to make viral videos or anything like that. We were putting out information to help people and hopefully get a few new clients without having to pay any advertising fees. Our ROI is off the charts because we don't have a budget for marketing. Yeah. We don't need one. So having that happen and then fortunately having the ability to harness it, and again, I think my theatrical background and the movie making, all the other things I've done when it came to now we're creating this content. And in the very beginning, I'll never forget, I had my phone like this to my brother and I'm going, these are, I've done films and shit. And I'm like, this is what I'm reduced to now as a filmmaker. I'm on my phone. But, I was kind of half joking and then realizing, no, my knowledge and background, all that can help all this. Because now we're crossing over from attorneys to entertainment and everything else. And so what happened was we were creating this content from 2015 all the way through December 25th, 2018. We had amassed 119,000 followers. And so in 3 years, by all accounts, that's pretty good. And we were getting recognized at places and getting hired to go to events and this and all this other stuff started happening. We get the podcast that we're doing now and everything else. And so great. We figure, oh, this is great, and not thinking anything else. Then December 25th, 2018, I'm on vacation with my wife and kids for Christmas. And I'm sitting on a balcony somewhere smoking a joint, and on my phone, up through this point, I had us a notification set for all social media platforms. Now, Instagram was our biggest, but I had put us everywhere just to have a presence, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok now, and we just all over everywhere, but never really was active on all the other ones, just there. And I would have different notification sounds set because for attorneys, it just takes one person. Hey, I got raided last night. I need help, whatever it is. So my Facebook notifications would go off maybe once every 2 weeks with a little ding. And on this Christmas, 2018, I wake up in the morning to my phone going ding, 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 just nonstop. I thought my phone was broken. I didn't know what was going on. I turned it off. I turned it on. It's still going nuts. I see these Facebook shares and likes and just all this stuff. Get on the computer and I'm able, it took about a half hour to figure it out and get to a page on Facebook called Respect My Region, which was a small like hip hop political page out of Seattle. And they posted one of our, what we now call Shut the Fuck Up Friday videos we talked about a raid that happened at an illegal shop. 3 people worked there. 2 of them said, I'm a volunteer. And they got busted. And one guy shut the fuck up because he followed us and we got the case dismissed. And so that video got reposted by Roger Stone. And with the caption that said, these should be my attorneys. And he never shuts the fuck up. And him posting it, that was it. Snoop, P. Diddy, Barstool Sports, and all these other things that I'd never even, I didn't know what Barstool Sports was. I didn't know what World Star was. And
yeah,
I go into a bar when they were open, they have the closed caption shit at restaurants and bars. I see our shit. I'm like, holy fuck, it's just everywhere. And then we get called within a month of that happening. We got Michael Rappaport called us. We did his podcast. MTV called us. They licensed our video for ridiculousness. Tosh.0 called us. We did Tosh.0. We were on that show. And dozens upon dozens of production companies and reality shows were coming at just left and right. And we basically, we did it. We hooked up with somebody early on. We did a sizzle reel back in 2016. And we actually were in a year-long deal with this company. And after about 6-7 months, I didn't like what was going on. And we amicably parted ways. And basically it was all these companies coming after us, like we want to do a reality show with you guys. Like, yeah, no, we're not that. There's something here. And in talking to all these different production companies and people in the reality show world, they didn't know what to do with us. And we're not the Kardashians. You're not going to manufacture shit and all that kind of stuff and everything else. So we were very standoffish, and I took meetings and calls until just before the pandemic. We actually connected with a nice boutique production company that we liked, that they dug our terms, which we have final say, and most other places were like, well, see ya, when we say that. And we started shooting, and then the pandemic hit, and then we actually started shooting again just recently. So we've got to put a docuseries being put together with regards to that. So everything that happened to us, I mean, we had already been in this niche for cannabis, and then taking it through social media and not just using cannabis. See, now, as I mentioned, with our worldwide attorney referral network, our audience is everybody. I mean, we have followers all over the world. And I started building a referral network right out of the beginning in 1996. And that's a whole other story in and of itself, how I got my first client because I couldn't get hired. And somebody said, aren't you an attorney? I said, yeah, I'll take your case. I don't fucking, but I started off like that, hooking up with older attorneys and splitting fees so I could learn from them. And then eventually I didn't need any help, and I would be able to keep those attorneys to refer cases to. Yeah. So building the network that we have and realizing that, like, Clubhouse, when Clubhouse came out, that just really took our referral network to a different level, where somebody would call us or a message on one of our social media platforms. I'm in Istanbul and I need an attorney. I'll get on Clubhouse and open a room. Hey, I need an attorney out in Istanbul, or wherever. I mean, Taiwan and all over the country and all over the USA. So that's been pretty phenomenal. So, I mean, my advice, well, first of all, you can't try to do this, I don't think. Let's make a viral video. Let's go viral and do this, and that's just not how it works. And I mean, there might be think tanks of companies and people who are maybe doing that and spending a lot of money doing that. But for regular guys like us who are doing something specific and whatever it is you're doing, just using social media by being yourself and giving information that's useful without expecting anything in return. Other than, like I said in the beginning, we're like, hey, maybe we'll get a few new clients out of this. It's free advertising, and plus we're helping people out. So, and then, to that end, the niche will find you, and the content you create will find its audience.
Yeah. So, and to kind of build off of what you just said there, if there's an attorney out there who's, maybe they're in between like business and family law and estate planning, but they really want to niche down, what would you tell someone on how to pick one to go with?
Whatever you're most passionate about, whatever you really like. I mean, I got into the practice of law to make money to finance my plays and films I was writing, because I'm an actor, I'm a filmmaker at heart. That's what I love to do. And that's why I got into law. And I was only going to practice for 5 years, and just continue making, but it didn't work out that way. But I was able to find an area of law that I am passionate about. And then when the social media thing hit, all my worlds collided, and my filmmaking, and everything I've done just led me to my first live audition in almost 30 years that I went to. And I was hired and got cast as a cannabis entrepreneur who owns cannabis cultivations for a network television pilot for a TV series. So, I mean, it all kind of comes full circle if you just focus on what you can do to help other people with the knowledge that you have and a platform that you have.
Yeah. And to kind of just round this out a little bit, obviously criminal defense can be considered a niche in and of itself, but then you have almost, gone to a niche within a niche with the cannabis law. How, in your opinion, does that, how does focusing on a specific aspect of a practice area compare to just serving the broader area of criminal defense?
People are going to look at you differently for that, right? I mean, it's to the point now when somebody thinks, okay, we need a cannabis criminal defense attorney. We need a cannabis attorney. We want to get into the business. They're thinking of us. Mm-hmm. The Pop Brothers at Law. They're the guys you got to call, and that happens when you are so proficient at whatever it is you're picking to do that people are going to recognize that, and that's why, somebody calls us and they are getting a divorce. I pick up the phone, I call a good divorce attorney that I know, and go to them, because one of the things that we're very good at is knowing what we don't know. And we don't try to pretend that we know something we don't know. A lot of attorneys do that. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane, do what you do. There's other people who do other things better than you. That's good. Send them over there. Give them good advice, give them good, competent legal counsel. And that's why, as general counsel for a lot of cannabis businesses, hey, we have a trademark. We want to, you got to go talk to this trademark guy, or whatever. If there's something different that you need that's outside of what we do as general counsel, we're going to find the attorney for you. And we're going to make sure they don't fuck you over with their fees and everything else that they do, because you get that a lot. especially with bigger firms, and they're billing you hourly, and you go in and you look at these bills and you're like, well, wait a minute, this partner was talking to this partner and they're charging $750 an hour each, talking to each other. But that they got to pay for those big high rises and all that stuff. So, but those are the types of things that we'll do for our clients when they need other types of legal advice.
Yeah. And I mean, I think you are the shining example of just kind of what we tell attorneys all the time. You focus on that one niche. With the content that you create, you are then seen as the expert. It then creates those opportunities. If you so choose, you can charge those premium rates being the expert. So, all of it is, like I said, you're just a shining example of what happens when all of that works. And so I think those are all the questions that I have. I think we'll wrap it up here with just one final question. If you had one piece of advice for other attorneys out there, what would it be?
Be yourself and call your fucking clients back.
Yeah.
That's the biggest one. And that's something me and my brother pride ourselves on, is that no client can ever say we don't get back to them. And that's the biggest complaint you hear about attorneys. The attorney didn't call me back. So call your fucking clients back, please.
Awesome. Well, Marc, this has been absolutely phenomenal. A lot of great information and insight that you provided. I really do appreciate it. That's going to do it for us this week on Center Stage. Continue to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Check us out on YouTube, Pandora, Spotify, wherever you're consuming the show. And like I said, that's going to do it. Marc, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. You have a great day.
All right. Thanks. Thanks for listening. To learn more, go to spotlightbranding.com/centerstage.